first books are, you know, but they reflect sort of where you were, and you would write them differently, but also something would be lost, I think, in terms of the innocence of even the character, you know, that you were writing about at the time.
Right. Do you then, all these books later and all the accomplishments and the accolades, do you have, I mean, can you hang on to a little bit of what that was like to write that first book, even today? Do you have those moments where you sit down and think, I feel like this every single time I sit down to write fiction? Mm-hmm. I remember what that was like to embark on this for the first time.
Oh, and you know, when I teach, I always try to say that to students before they're published. They never believe you. I always say, just, you know, enjoy this time when it's just yours. You know, when you're writing with nobody expecting it, and it's just your own individual thing, and you have no idea what the procedure is. You have no idea what's going to happen. You're just writing obsessively just for the passion of it, and you can capture that in later books. I mean, I think that's the challenge of just shutting down everything else and still going back like it's the first time. But that there's a kind of bliss in that when the book is still just yours and it's just flowing along if it's going well. But I still very much remember that, and it was my favorite way. Writing that book was my favorite way of procrastinating in college. So if I would suddenly have wonderful ideas when the night before my finals. It would be like, oh man, that thing I've been trying to figure out for months, now it's so clear to me before my economics final tomorrow. So it was, and I was majoring in French literature and translation with a minor in economics. So I just, it was my escape. Even
Absolutely.
When I was in my MFA program, I never showed that particular work to people in my workshop because I was so protective. It was an
Really?
oasis for me. Yeah, I did stories that I would then workshop, but that was my private, you know, thing. So it was a very special space to just be writing. It was just me and the characters, and it was like, there's a kind of bliss in that. You know.
So what was that like then, the first time to pull it out and say it's going out into the world?
It's nerve-wracking, just like this one was nerve-wracking. I think, you know, you feel, but I didn't know anything about I didn't know about Kirkus Review, I didn't know about reviews even. So there was a kind of, you know, just going along, and everything was a wonderful surprise. And then I remember actually going to the store, to the bookstore. It was Shakespeare and Company in New York City the day the book comes out, and every writer then who was with the same press would say, you have to go to the store and turn the book face out. Like, you know, you have to make sure.
Right,
like
if it's sitting like, there on the shelf like this, right? Flip it out.
So yeah, if it's narrow, you know, if it's just the spine, and I felt like that's a kind of vandalism of the bookshelf, you know, but everyone would insist, but all I would do, I would just go and just stroke the spine. I was like, oh.
Really? Do you do that still?
No, not anymore.
No, see, you're jaded.
People would see me doing it. It would be kind of, probably someone would take a picture and tweet it or something. It would be really embarrassing.
I think it was charming.
Yeah,
right.
now I just stroke it at home.
All right.